story. Putco's wildcat bus driver strike is set to continue. This after Soweto, Dobsonville decided not to accept the proposals on the table. They've tasked trade union NUMSA with returning to management for more talks. My colleague, our reporter Nqobile Madlala, joining us now from Soweto with the latest there. Nqobile, is not yet over, so to speak, because workers are not satisfied with whatever proposals are currently on the table.
Well, far from it, Bradan. In fact, we know that the proposal that's on the table is about 6% increment and bonuses paid over months. But there is going to be 105 people that remain dismissed. And this is what came from Putco. But the people here are saying, the workers are saying no to that. They actually want the 105 people brought back to work. They want them reinstated without any conditions, as well as the fact that they still want their back pay. There was a 5,000 rand that was put on the table to say that if they don't get their back pay, they could potentially get the 5,000 rand, which would apply to every single person that is owed by Putco. But they're saying that if you can just look back at the numbers, Bradan, someone who earns quite a lot of money could be even looking at the fact that they need to be paid over 36,000 rand. So to take 5,000 rand is very little. But also, more than anything, they're feeling that the 105 people would be paying the sins of everybody else that was part of that strike, because they're saying, Bradan, the strike wasn't just 105 people, but it was over 1,000 workers. Even though they did submit, of course, their papers to say to explain why they must be taken back by the company, but these 105 people, what then is it that Putco can say this is why they want the 105 people out over the 1,000 people to lose their jobs? So they feel it is unfair. So those are some of the negotiations that they still want to continue. So they're asking the union, NUMSA specifically, to lead the way and basically go back to the drawing table and ask the company to look into these things. But they're saying they are willing to settle for at least half of what they've asked for. But that's, of course, if Putco in itself is deciding that they can meet them halfway. But that's, of course, if this is the case where they find themselves having to settle, then they'll take half.
And what is Putco's position now? Are they moving? Is Putco prepared to compromise with some of those issues?
Well, Bradan, according to the workers, Putco has never been prepared to compromise when it comes to their negotiations. But based on what they have come on the table with, this is something that they feel is progress. I mean, speaking to Nqobile, he was saying that the negotiation took quite a long time, over 10 hours just negotiating back and forth. So you can imagine how long and how excruciating that must be to go back and forth for that long to come to this a proposal, only for the workers to say that they're not willing to take it. So then Putco is saying that they are going to monitor the services. I mean, they are going to monitor the progress in terms of what the CCMA is saying, everyone that's going to be part of the meeting. They're going to go through this entire process. But what they have said is that they need to then relook how they're going to go back into operation, because at this point, as the strike continues, they are finding that their operations have been disrupted, and that means even tomorrow for any other passenger that wants to be on a bus, they won't be on that bus until these negotiations are over. So they are going to be relooking their operation in order to make sure that they can go on the road and they can provide services for the passengers. But in the meantime, they are going to be negotiating with NUMSA, which I understand those negotiations started at about 2 o'clock. So we will hear then later on, or rather the next morning, to hear what is the plan going forward. But on the ground, Bradan, they've been very clear that they want Putco to meet them halfway, or rather give them exactly what they want and let them go.
Thank you very much, Nqobile Madlala, for that comprehensive update there from outside the Putco depot in New Canada in Soweto. We keep on tracking that story this afternoon. Currently, the trade union NUMSA and Putco management locked in more talks.